Peace, guys. It's me, Arlene J. Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk, also your favorite self-wealth mentor. Today I would like to talk about a documentary Brother Bilal posted on my page earlier today. It's called Frustrated Black American Men in Brazil. Frustrated Black American Men in Brazil. First off, I have to say that I agree with everything the brothers were saying in that documentary. As you guys all know, I'm the first American in my family. I'm Trini American, and I was raised in that way where, we cater to the men, we share their food, and all that sort of stuff. Everything that they were saying is how I was raised, and that's within me. I've done it, and I will continue to do it. But here's what I want to say, though. I've realized that most of the men, or the men who were in this documentary, appear to be 40 and older. So now this tells me that they are looking at relationships from a completely different perspective. They're willing to settle down and want to enjoy the simplicity of life rather than the superficial. But I would have to say that all of you fellas in this recording weren't saying the same thing when you were in your 20s and when you were in your 30s. Let's keep into mind what's going on here. Although I agree with everything that you said, women didn't just become this way. African American women, black women, American women didn't become this way just because. There's a reason. Life is cause and effect. And it's what I tell people. We have to learn the law of cause and effect. It's here. It's invisible. It's not on a piece of paper, but it's here. All right. Now, why I talk about that is, let's talk about all the years when you ran through women and you lied and it was just about what you wanted. That's the stigma. Those things are still in a woman's mind, because we live in a world where we live in a very superficial world, right? So a woman is not respected if she slept around with different men. All right. Then you have a great percentage of men who are not willing to settle down with a woman if she has children by other men. And during the interim, when you fellas are sleeping around and sowing your wild oats, you're also having children with different men and leaving women vulnerable, where their stock is starting to go down in the eyes of other men. So 9 times out of 10, these very same women who you ran through and have corrupted in your younger years are not going to be able to recover from a relationship with another man in the latter years, because now she's looked at as used goods. Her stock is down and she's damn near no good for a man who's ready to settle down and get married. Yes or no? I mean, I've talked to several men, so I know that this is definitely a factor. So we can't say no. We have to say yes. So you have to look at that. That's also a reason why women have become this way. Also, let's take into account that the black woman have not been respected by the world since the beginning of time. The black woman is not looked at with the utmost respect. Although many will say that the black woman is very powerful and the black women should be held up high and we should be this and we should be that. Let's face it, the black woman have yet to have respect on a clean slate, or be looked at as a person with dignity on a clean slate. There's so much against the black woman that we have to fight through. And that's also including with our men. Right? Let's also take into account colorism. Colorism plays a very huge part, because many African American men are running to the lighter skinned women. You guys love the lighter skinned women. So, you will settle down with a woman like that in a heartbeat before you settle down with a darker skinned woman. And some of the ways you treat a dark-skinned woman, you will not treat a lighter-skinned woman. Now just think about it. The African American women that you say have the attitudes and the this and the that, look at their color, look at their complexion. Okay, what are their complexion? every time I see something on YouTube or hear of a man talking about a African American woman with a nasty attitude and a this and a that, it's always the darker skinned woman. And the reason being is the darker skinned woman, we get no burn. You know, it's from childhood. It's the black and the ugly thing. It's the you're not good enough thing. It's the not giving them enough love thing. It's the demeaning them, stripping them of their dignity. It's the making them feel like they don't matter. So there's so much against that's in a black woman's psyche that in her eyes the world is against her. And then when it comes to relationships, who do you flock to? Now again, black women, don't think that I'm just only on your side, and I'm definitely, this is not me bashing the black American man at all. This is me bringing some things to light as to why relationships seems or appear to be in the way that it is. Let's also take into account of, you guys mentioned education, and some women are like, well, you know, you have to make X amount, and you have to have a master's, and you have to have this. Yeah, I mean, women, that is the extreme. That is the extreme. But let's also face it, that we're living in a superficial world, and information is before us, and we see that life, there's abundance of anything in life. And many of us, we have a right to want to live that type of life. Now the problem is, you know, that's a one-track mind way of viewing the world or viewing life, whereas your man has to have a master's degree and he has to make X, Y, and Z amount of money. I think that is the most ridiculous thing ever. That also shows, again, that you have a one-track mind and you lack creative thinking. You think in the box. You don't take away the box. I take away the box. In my mind, there is no box. I think outside of it, and there is no box. Don't put me in a box. So this is how I see it. For me, a man doesn't have to have a master's degree. And believe it or not, there's plenty of people who think that I've been to college. I have never spent one day in college, and I've never taken a college course. However, I love to learn. I love education. Not regular curriculum that they teach us in school, but what I mean by education, I mean world education, things that's going to enlighten me, make me know what's going on in the world, or even in my own country for that matter. I love to learn because it makes me better. I need a man who loves to learn as well. And once he loves to learn, he's going to be also a seeker of information. And no, regardless of where he gets his information is fine with me. I can't tell a person how to educate themselves or where to get their education from. But the fact that he wants to learn and be enlightened is what you need to be focused on. Because you can always work on a person who loves to learn and be enlightened. Because once a person is enlightened, they want to do better. They want to do more. So you can take a person that's making, let's say, $35,000 a year, but if they want more, you guys can put your heads together and you can say, you know what, we can invest in this, or we can come up with this, we can do this, which will get you in the interim that type of life that you're looking for. But to just say you want him to make X, Y, and Z amount of money off top is ridiculous. Do understand that some men are comfortable just being simple in life. If it's just him and he doesn't have a woman in his life, he doesn't need much to make him happy. Okay, so plenty of times we will come across men who are like that. Now, the men who are going after the degrees and that amount of money, do know that those are the men sometimes that are not going to be respectful of a relationship, and they're not looking to settle down because they're making that type of money to attract the woman. It's not only about him and his lifestyle. He wants a certain type of woman in his life, and he's running through them, going on vacation with different women, going down to Brazil and enjoying different women and not settling down in a relationship. So you also have to look at it on all angles, on how life is not perfect and it's not going to work in that one track. Hey guys, we got cut off. I left off talking about the the educated man that fits in that description of what you're talking about. And I just wanted to let you know that that man has every right to want the abundance of in life. He has every right to be choosy. He has every right to enjoy all aspects of life. Now, when that man settles down, or when that man is ready to settle down, the question is, will that be you? All right, chances are it may not be you. And then let me not talk about, all men who just get college degrees or get that type of money to run game and rip and run. Because I know plenty of men who got their education, got their degree, and you know what, they're married and they're settled down and they're doing the damn thing as a husband and as a couple. So, this does not pertain to all men, but I'm just throwing some things out there in the box in which you placed yourself in. And let's think about how difficult you've made your life by placing yourself in this particular box. Also, to let you know that colorism plays a major role in this very same documentary. Why Brazil? Plenty of men I know talk like that who frequent Brazil and Dominican Republic. My question is, why not Africa? Why not Haiti? Why not Guyana? Why not Trinidad? Why not any of the islands that consists predominantly of Negro people? Why the islands that clearly have the mixed people? Because of course we know Dominican Republic is, predominantly is a mixed group of people. We can tell they're mixed, but they're beautiful. Of course we know they're beautiful. And I've never been to Brazil, but of course, based off of what I've seen and what I hear African American men talk about, the Brazilian women are very beautiful. So this goes back to the colorism thing that I said again. So it's not so much of the African American women are hating on the Brazilian women or the Dominican Republic women. This is just everyone is unable to break things down psychologically. So let me break it down for you. When they get frustrated and you hear them fret because you talking about going to Brazil and Dominican Republic, in their mind it's there that they go again. It's the mixed woman thing. It's the woman with the other features and the woman with the curly hair. And I'm quite sure if you were frequenting Africa, some parts of Africa, and Haiti and Trinidad and the other islands like that, I don't think that you will see that much resentment from your African American women. So again, let's be more cognizant of what goes on in our minds psychologically, because whatever that goes on in our mind and what we think about comes about in our tone. It comes about in the things we want to do, and even the places we choose to vacation. It comes about. So you have the African American woman who's thinking, again, I am not good enough, because there they go again. Brazil, Dominican Republic, and then African American ladies, you throw up a block and you choose not to learn. And I tell you, don't live that way. Be receptive to information. Discard some things, but learn other things. All right, men, black men, be cognizant of how you treat your African American sisters. Even those who do not respect themselves, do not disrespect them because they don't respect themselves. I understand that that's not a woman that you're going to want to marry, but you have to teach her the way. You have to say, no. That's unacceptable for you to be out here carrying yourself on like that and representing yourself in that type of way. That's not a good look for you. You have to step up and show her the hand of righteousness. All right? Somewhere along the line, you guys forgot that. You forgot that. And this is why I say that there's no clean slate for the African American woman as far as respect and how we think of the black woman. The black woman can't afford to slip. From the time she slips, everybody's jumping on her back and everybody's jumping on her throat. There's no one to lift her up and say, this is not the way to go. All right? of course, I can't marry you because, you know, you don't fit the description because of how you're representing yourself. But you know what? For the future, this is not the way you need to go. You need to think about your future and how you are being perceived and what you are allowing people to think about you. What happened to that? There's none of that. You know, if we start to do that, I bet you will start to see a different African American woman. All right, fellas, I also need you to step up and let these younger fellas know, and let the women know what the men are doing. All right, you can't, you know, that's an oxymoron. You can't want to flip the script and want to settle down and take relationships serious when you're in your 40s and up, and forget about all the crap you've done when you were younger. Because that goes back to what I said before in the previous recording. That woman is unable to recover, although you can recover, because that same stigma is not on you like it is on the African American woman. She can't recover, especially if she done had 2 and 3 kids. She can't recover. And it's so bad that I've even heard men say that if a woman moves from a state to another state, 9 times out of 10 she's moving. 9 times out of 10 she's moving from that state because she done did a lot of dirt in the state where she comes from. So you have some men that don't even embrace a black woman if she comes from another state, because in his mind, yeah, the only reason why you moved out here is because you was a tramp out there. I don't trust you. You was a hoe. I mean, there's no way that a woman can get around that. And part of the reason why she was a hoe is because half of you guys are sowing your wild oats. Now, of course, I'm not excluding the women who are just hoeing just for the sake of hoeing. That's a different set, of women that we have to deal with. And that's also a conditioning of the mind and why she think that's okay to do that. But I'm talking about the woman who was out here who fell for the okie doke, and who fell for the gift of gab, who was lost. She just went from man to man to man. And then when she says, you know what, let me just pick up, start over and go to another state, sometimes she's not embraced in that other state because of what men think. The only reason why you moved out here is because of X, Y, and Z. And then she won't get a chance out there either. That's not right. Psychologically, it's damaging to that woman, and she gets no break at all. She's just abused all the way around. And some of you guys come from the same abusive households that we came from. So why don't you understand? Why can't you find it in yourself to have some compassion and empathy for the entire situation and say, you know what, somebody got to teach our brothers to do different. You upkeep this crap. You keep the secret. You allow the younger brothers to go out there and do what you did when you were older, and none of it is working for us as a race, as a people, as a nation. It is not working. But then you want to flock to Dominican Republic and Brazil and talk about how you're treated out there. Let me tell you something. In those islands, men sow their wild oats and all that stuff too, but they also uplift those women. They don't allow their women to be treated like trash. Although some of them don't stay with their women and they move on, there's always another man who's going to uplift that woman. And when she's out there doing wrong, there's always another man to be like, you can't be out here doing this. Either that or you need to go home. I've seen it. I told you, I'm Trini American. I've been to Trinidad since I've been in diapers. I have a passport. I go damn near every year. I haven't been there in the past 4 years, but I'm telling you what I've seen. And that's why women in the islands are still grateful for the men and the roles that the men play in their lives, because there's always a man to come and tell them that they are acting out of line and they need to straighten up for themselves and for their children. The black man don't do that with their sisters. You don't. You guys don't do that. You don't. And until you do, you can't talk and complain about women from other islands, because you don't treat your sisters the way you want your sisters to treat you. Cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. I suggest you have some respect. Hey guys, we got cut off. I left off with saying cause and effect. Learn to respect the law of cause and effect. Also, let me just also break it down to getting on the college thing. Women, as I said before, get out of that one track mind way of thinking. Also, we let our egos get in the way, because you understand how difficult it is to go to college and get a degree, and you put yourself in it's a mind state of, well, I had to do all this hard work, and I had to go to college, and I had to put in those hours, and he has to do it too. And no, he hasn't. That was your choice to go to college. That was your choice to put yourself through that monotonous 4 or however years to get that degree. So the stress you've given yourself and what you've went through to get that degree, someone else, your man, shouldn't have to go put himself through that in order to deem himself worthy to be in a relationship with you. We put too much of our ego and our personal feelings in the mix. Let's also remember that you had a choice to either go to college or to not go to college. It was your choice to do that. Don't put your personal burdens on someone else and then say, well, that they're not good enough because they haven't put themselves through that burden. That's what you also do when you have children, right? Because a man can't have children and he doesn't know what labor pains feel like. So it's my child, it's not his child. And then you put the man down and you take away his role in even the relationship, or even his role of being a father, because he hasn't gone through labor pains. Let's get your personal emotional feelings out of the mix, because God didn't make him to have children. If he did, men will be having children. Therefore, you are not better than the man, and the man is not better than you, because there's some things that men must go through and have to do in life to prove that they are man, and we don't have to do anything to prove that we are a woman. We're just born a woman, and we're capable and able of having children and being a woman when we put our minds to it, and we allow our bodies to do it. So remove the personal feelings and the ego out of the way. Sometimes that cloud our judgment. We can't see. We have no logical and reasonable thinking, which now makes us irrational people. Get that stuff out of the way. And as I said in the previous recording, fellas, step up. Step up and start teaching these younger men on how to be men. It is your job to do that. We don't know how to do that, and we damn sure don't know what's in a man's mind. Some fellas never want to settle down, but they want to breed. They want to have children. That also damages a woman's mindset. And there's some women who don't know that. They think that it's them. Some men don't want to settle down, but they want a couple of children. So what do you think that does to the woman that's just having kids for you, and you never wanting to settle down? You just want to be free to rip and roam and be a rebel without a cause, or a stumbling bum, just drinking cheap liquor and just being out of control with everything. There's so much that takes into play that that men have on their agenda, or it's what's in a man's psychological makeup, which a woman knows absolutely nothing about, but they fall victim to it. And now what you have is women who don't know what's in a man's mind, and to prevent themselves from falling victim, they have a long, stiff list of what you must accomplish in order for them to consider you to be in a relationship with them. So it's a matter of, I need you to be aware of your manhood and aware of what men do and how men think. And then there's also another set of men who like a woman, and because of certain characteristics, he already made up in his mind that I will never marry this woman. He will never marry her, but he'll have children with her, he'll live with her, he'll sex her until he's ready to pick up and leave. But the woman don't know that. She don't know that. Now, if you think that her character is not fitting for you, and she's done something, it's just best for you to just say that and then pick up and leave. But now to be passive aggressive, and do what you do, a woman doesn't realize that that's what you're doing, and she got the wrong picture. So now a woman's their fight is so wrong. So wrong. You have to have X amount of money in the bank. You have to this. You have to. It is so wrong. But they're basically just saying they want to cover themselves. I'm not because in their mind, you can't be broke, unable to buy me things, unable to this, that, and the third, and then leave me with children, and then this, and then that. It's just all wrong. Women, you're wrong. Men, you're wrong. And that's all I'm going to say. Be respectful of cause and effect. Have some respect for universal law, because this is what happens when you don't. And you think that it's okay that once you get to be a certain age, you can just flip the switch like you're turning on the light, change how you view life, just ready to settle down, and then you just think that that's just how the world is supposed to go. Because, or you know, that's just you. You're just selfish, narcissistic. And you think the world evolves around you. But what about all the damage? It's like a domino effect. What about all the damage that has been happened and that was done previously? So I hope you guys got something out of this recording, you know, because again, I'm about enlightenment. All love. I don't care how I say it or how it comes across. For the most part, I'm respectful of how people feel. And I'm just poking and provoking thought. Enjoy this Sunday, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I shall definitely have something for you guys up by the midweek. Okay, until then, peace.